What's up everyone, and thank you for stopping by the channel. Today's project is this lightly used Husqvarna chainsaw, and the problem is that it won't start. Let's take a good look at it, find out what's wrong with it. Hopefully we can fix it. In this video, we try and repair this chainsaw. However, it may not be the exact repair you need to make to yours. We'll explore other options later in the video. Now, this saw belongs to a friend of mine, and they said they put fuel into it and tried to start it, but gave up when it didn't start. Now, this chainsaw isn't very old. In fact, the last time it was used was last year. And when it came to me, I did hear that there was some fuel sloshing around in the tank, so I want to pour it out and examine it. The most likely reason for the chainsaw not to start is old, stale fuel. And of course, the second reason is a carburetor problem. Okay, so here's our first major problem. I don't see any oil in this mixed fuel. It would appear they put straight gas into the tank instead of an oil-gas mix, so it's a good thing they didn't get it to start, otherwise it would have burned up the engine pretty quickly. While the fuel tank is empty, I want to check and make sure the fuel filter is still connected to the fuel line, which it is. Now, why is this important? Well, if the filter is off the line, unfiltered fuel will enter the carburetor and the screen inside it will become clogged. If this happens, the carburetor will not work properly and the engine will not start. The next thing I want to check is the engine's compression. The easiest way is to slowly pull on the pull rope and feel how much the engine fights back, and this one is fighting back a lot, so it should have enough to run, but I want to get a real reading on the compression compared to just a feeling. Now, if yours is easy to pull, then it might be too worn out to start or run. What I'm going to use is a compression tester. This will let me see how healthy this engine is. These are very affordable online, or if you can, try borrowing one. Now, we want to see a reading over 50 psi, and the higher the better. If it's under 50, then we may have a problem even starting it. Just remove the spark plug and screw in the tester, and then pull the rope a few times. So the reading is about 70 psi, which is decent for a saw this age. However, I was hoping for something a little bit higher. The next thing I want to do is put some mixed fuel into the tank and try starting it. Now, I do want to get rid of the gas that's in the lines, so if we do get it running, it won't be running on straight gas for that first minute. Now, I don't ever get a saw this new and this great a shape, so the decals that show how to start it is very visible and easy to read. Always follow the directions to start your saw, as the directions are not always the same across different brands. If you can't find the directions on it, try looking it up online. So surprisingly, it started and ran just fine. I did increase the idle speed just a little bit, but I didn't make any adjustments to the carburetor. I did cut some wood with it just to make sure it worked fine, and other than needing the chain to be sharpened, it worked great. So what happened? I asked my friend about the straight gas in the tank, and they said they forgot to put oil in the fuel can at the gas station. I asked them to put the oil in the fuel can first and then put gas in it next time. Otherwise, they're going to destroy all their equipment. So I asked them how they tried to start the chainsaw, and they told me they did not follow the instructions. Instead, they pressed the primer bulb only a few times so it wouldn't flood the engine. That meant that the carburetor wasn't primed and it was going to be tough to start it, but by then they had already given up. I told them that I followed the instructions and it started and ran just fine, so they should do the same. Another reason why your chainsaw may not be starting is, of course, the carburetor needs to be serviced due to poor storage. The other option is to replace the carburetor. To avoid this, remember to always run the saw empty after every use. So my question is, have you ever accidentally put straight gas in your 2-cycle equipment? Or do you know someone who may have made this easy mistake? Now, if you have 2 fuel cans that look exactly the same, but one has markings on it that say 2-cycle, it's very easy to overlook it and pour the wrong fuel into your equipment. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time. Please feel free to ask any questions, and I hope to see you in my next video.